Hello everyone, Albatross here. In this video I want to talk about and hopefully answer three main questions a lot of people have about New World as we get closer to what is very possibly the final release date. Will the game be delayed? Is the game ready for launch? And will it last? This isn't meant to be a comprehensive analysis of New World, as I went more in that direction with my closed beta review, but will mostly just focus on my concerns going forward, and I hope that I can give some assistance to those that are still on the fence. Will New World be delayed? I don't think so. The launch only being pushed back originally from the 31st to the 28th of September, after closed beta already suggested to me that it wouldn't get pushed back more. I feel that if AGS thought they needed more time to really overhaul things, they would have pushed it back several months and not just a few weeks, kind of like they had previously. The open beta being so short, and the fact that its main purpose was to stress test servers, suggests to me that the 28th really will be the launch date we've been waiting for. Additionally, on Twitter, after the closing of the open beta, we got this post you'll be seeing on screen. The gates of open beta are closed, but now we look towards a new set of open doors. A tournament will be waiting for you on September 28th. I am, of course, biased in my assumption that the game won't be delayed further. Myself, and I'm sure a lot of other people, want the game to come out. I'm tired of testing. I want my progress to finally count. I want to get lost in a tournament. Is the game ready to launch? I think many people forget how rough MMO launches tend to be, and comparatively, the game we all played during both betas was in a better state than many games are during their first several months of life. These last two betas have given AGS a ton of insight into bugs and exploits so that launch will be as smooth as possible. I also believe that it is very likely we are playing an old build, which is something that Damone Kim, another New World YouTuber, pointed out, and I agree with him. If I were to guess, we are playing a patched version of the closed beta, and AGS has already loaded a ton of stuff into the final build that we haven't even seen yet. The devs have already gone to great lengths to make sure that the game is as polished as it can be before we get our hands on the final product. I think that we're reaching the limits to those preparations. Open beta ran pretty smoothly overall, and definitely pushed the servers to their limit, which is exactly what AGS wanted. They wanted to stress test their servers. I said this in my closed beta review, but even the game I played in July was something I happily played for 100 hours and would have gladly played hundreds more. The same can be said for what I experienced in the open beta. It's a wonderful game with satisfying combat and the best iteration of life skills I've seen in an MMO to date. If it stays on this path, I think that New World has every ability to make a permanent mark on the MMO space and last for years to come. The closed beta ended up being the best QA AGS could have asked for. It uncovered so many issues that could be fixed before they were truly able to hurt the game. I think that is why the release was pushed back those 4 more weeks in August, to specifically give themselves the time to address these glitches and exploits, not to overhaul sweeping systems that would require them months to fix things. Between betas, a ton of things were fixed and improved upon. The Great Axe bug was fixed. The town board saw 30 to 50% XP nerf. War, while not perfect, is a lot more stable, allowing you to play something other than a tank or a healer and feel like you're actually able to make an impact. The early game was restructured to make the game feel less grindy. Dungeons are now more difficult. Many bottlenecked quests I talked about in my closed beta review have been fixed and are approved. They have delivered on so many things the game needed in about 5 weeks, which is incredible. The game feels very polished compared to where it used to be, and I think that many people who want the game to be delayed are seeing it from the wrong frame of mind. No launch in this day and age is perfect, especially with the number of variables in an MMO. It just isn't possible. There will always be something wrong, there will always be something that can be improved, and there will always be something that is not ready. The only real bugs I encountered during the weekend was a sound bug, where certain noises would stop working correctly, like mobs hitting you or ability sounds, and you would just hear like ambient noise and music. Another bug was a weird stutter that would happen with frame rate that I didn't experience in the closed beta. Both of these things are very fixable, and they don't really concern me. What does concern me, though, are the changes to stamina and PvP scaling that we got to play around with during the open beta. Allow me to elaborate. First of all, the game has scaling for PvP. For those that don't know, this means that when a level 60 and a level 30 fight each other, their stats, their damage, etc. are normalized, so that the level 30 has a chance against level 60. In the closed beta, you could really feel this. almost too much so, because I've seen multiple instances of a level 20 something, for example, that would completely wipe the floor with a level 60, and it wouldn't even be close, due to the differences in damage that they could do to each other. Either something wasn't working correctly, or those were some potato level 60s. In the open beta, however, it was the complete opposite of this. Even a 5 level difference felt huge in fights, often resulting in the lower level player feeling completely helpless to defend themselves. I think that the perfect balance lies somewhere in between. A player should feel a difference for their hard work in leveling and grinding for the better gear, but I think that a lower level player should still have a chance to win if they have the skill to back it up. AGS has confirmed that they intentionally switched things up to the other end of the spectrum for testing, which I think is indicative of them wanting to end up somewhere in the middle. Some degree of scaling is important for the health of the game, so many of New World's core mechanics revolve around being able to fight and defend yourself against other players. Leaving it in the state that it was in during the open beta on launch would result in high-level players being able to completely bully casual players out of a huge part of the game. This, I feel, is otherwise a major draw to New World, which is the ability to enjoy the PvP even if you don't have time to play every day. Another thing that saw huge changes in the open beta was the stamina system. And I'm going to be frank, I really don't like what they did to it. They took a dynamic combat system with tons of movement and depth to what feels like a watered down version of its former self. My hope is that this is just AGS testing another end of a spectrum, similar to scaling, and we'll see them end up either somewhere in the middle, or they'll scale it back after seeing what it did to the game. Otherwise, this could be in response to, I would guess, a common complaint about the closed beta, where people were just running from PvP, and they're trying to find an answer to people just running. However, you can still just run if you want to, especially with the right passives and abilities. All these changes really accomplished was making the light armor bracket feel completely useless, and furthermore making Great Axe, which is already the best weapon in the game, that much better with its ability to control, chase, and track opponents. You were hard-pressed to get away from a Great Axe player before. With the changes in how it tracks you, it is impossible. Fights in the open beta were less decided by one player killing the other and more by one player running out of stamina and then waiting to die while they can't block or evade away. This was incredibly frustrating, and I'm hoping that they scale this back or revert it completely to the way it was before, because I really, really preferred how PvP felt in the closed beta. Things just weren't as interesting. The last major thing I want to talk about regarding New World is the Endgame. It's been a major topic and concern for people that are still on the fence or not sure if they want to get the game or they aren't sure if it'll last. Many folks assume that New World lacks in-game content or just don't see it in the game, and I personally disagree. The game has open-world PvP, outpost rush, stuff about arenas that have been found in the game files, has dueling, open-world dungeons, weapon mastery, legendary collecting, life skill leveling, exploration, achievement hunting, title hunting, and that's just what I can think about on top of my head during the writing of this video. And that's just what we know about. There could be raids, more structured PvP modes, not to mention all the open world stuff that could be added or revealed. The game has every ability to last for years with the systems they have in place as long as it stays supported. Furthermore, New World by design isn't meant to be a second job, like many Eastern MMOs are. With the scaling for PvP and the open nature of ways to progress, the game is designed to be enjoyed in a casual or hardcore way. New World is what you make it. There are easily several hundred hours of content on the surface, and for $40 I would say that is quite a deal. I have said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I am more excited for the release of New World than I have been for any game in years. I really hope they do not delay release further. I truly disagree with anyone that thinks that they should at this point. Whether the devs agree with me or not, only time will tell. But for now, I cannot wait to play New World on the 28th, and I hope this video has helped you decide on getting the game or not, or at least been an interesting watch. As always, if you disagree with some of the things I said or talked about during this video, I'm happy to engage with you in the comments. I will be streaming New World on release and have tons of content planned between now and then, so please consider following on Twitch or subscribing on YouTube. Thank you for watching.